So until last session, we all discussed about some basic questions that are asked, some question types. And one of the things that I emphasized a lot was working for your company, research about the company, research about the job role, research about companies' goals, visions, mission, their past work, their achievement, anything that they have any news for. That is quite relevant. Now let's look at, because we are going to dive into more questions, and all of these questions can be categorized into certain categories. So let's look at, it's not really possible to tackle, like there will be thousands of questions, so we cannot really tackle each of the question one by one. So let's look at some types through which when you sit down, and because I expect you all to, not really I expect you, you are all supposed to, it's really important to take ownership of what you are doing. So getting to know the type of question that can be asked, we cannot really ever control how many questions or what exactly you'll be facing, but still getting to know these are going to really help you all. So two important questions that we have done, telling me about you, as in about the candidate. How do you talk about yourself? How do you introduce yourself? How do you describe about that? Then we talked about the job role. Why do you want to work with a specific company? That's the reason I asked you all to research about that. Now diving into, if I show you what kind of questions are quite common and how they are categorized. So they are focusing, most of the employers, they have your resume, they have your CV. So in interview rounds, they are focusing on three things. Your personal traits, they want to see your personal abilities, skills. So your personality, your problem solving approach, how do you tackle different things, your response, your mental ability to think through, to find solutions, your language, vocabulary, grammar, fluency, all of that. And your confidence, overall, how confident you are with whatever you are saying. That speaks, because confidence is a non-verbal skill. You can't really verbalize confidence. It shows. If you are confident, it will show. And that is something you have to develop. Then experiential traits. These are more practical workplace skills that you need to display about. As a fresher, having expertise in these is not expected from you, but at the same time, they do expect you to understand that these are important part of workplace. Plus, some of us have natural these abilities that we have developed throughout our education and all of the degrees and diplomas that we have done. How well you are good with decision making, leadership, strengths, weaknesses, and then some core skills, your technical, your knowledge, abilities, all of your core domain, key competency areas. Now, only when key competency areas will be discussed if you cross the other two sections. So how really they look like in your interview? How do they look like? How are the questions framed? If I see, I started with, and we all started with this particular kind of questions. Then we moved on to this kind of question, what you know about the role and the company. And there are different ways in which these questions can be presented to you. There is no such one question that will always be asked. You sit for three companies will be asking you questions related to that, but you are for sure expecting questions in these areas, one or two or three questions, that depends on the interviewer and the panel, but they will definitely be there. Trust me, if all of you are not working on this particular area that I'm talking about here, and you're not working enough on the company research, preparing each company, suppose you have 5 to 10 companies in your mind and you are not preparing specific answer, why do you want to work for this company and this company and this company, you're preparing yourself to fail, because you can't just copy paste the answer for one company to the other company. Every company has some or other different value sets, their achievements are different, their domains are different, so you need to prepare separately for each type. Now we are moving on to your transferable skills. A lot of skills, your personality, your decision, your all of that is going to be part of this. And all of these skills, you can't just in air talk about, I am confident, I am a positive person, I am a punctual person. You can't talk about that. They include your technical skills too, but more focus is on your behavioral skills, your ambitions, your expectations. So now in this part, the interview questions look something like, what are your long-term goals, short-term goal, where do you see yourself in 5 years, and similar questions. And then how investable you are. Now here, the company wants to know why you are the right fit for the role. Why do you think what you have nobody else's has, that you should be hired? Plus sometimes salary negotiations are also part of this. If you never cross point number 2, you're never going to come on point number 5 for sure. They filter you if they are not satisfied with your answer in the beginning only. Plus only when you have done enough research about the job role, about the company, your aspect, you can mold your answer. See sir, I possess this, you need this, I possess this, please take me in, I am the right one. You need this, but you don't only know what they need, how, even if you have it, you will not highlight it. Everybody has those skills, but you don't highlight, you don't get the job. Somebody highlights, they get the job. So we need to practice on all these possible kind of questions and have answers in script, in writing. Now, I'm not saying word by word you should memorize these answers, because that is not possible, but have a scratch answer ready, that too in written. Okay, if the questions are asked, as I'm preparing you step by step for who you are, describe yourself, company, role, job role. Yes, Preeti, you have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, everybody studied same thing in our course. 100
Yes,
of 10, 116 students are interviewing for the company. How
correct.
can we tell that we studied, all the students study same thing and still we are better? How can we present that thing? I'm not able to convince, means I'm not able to answer that question right now. If I am asked, I am
You
not able
think
to tell
about
that.
like you're thinking, if everybody has those same skills, how are we different from each other?
Yeah.
The thing is, Preeti, you are looking at technical skills. You're not looking at soft skills. You are you like everybody? Do you respond to situations like everybody? Do you solve problems like everybody? Probably no.
There is
You
a,
have a different point
everyone
of
will
view.
have different, yeah.
Yeah, so you answered your question yourself.
But still, what will I say, that I studied this type, this skills, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I'm capable. And what if they ask
So
me
you
that why
they
are you better than all these candidates, and then they have studied the same thing. Now this question
hmm.
remains the same for me.
See, so obviously you highlight your capacity. You highlight, this is something that I do best, and you have to cultivate that. You have done XYZ projects, right? Rest see, you can say, I am not the decision maker here, but because I know that you value candidates who bring in authenticity, integrity, dedication, you present past examples of how you have conquered certain challenging situations. We are going to come on that, and that's why you need to really have backup of a lot of stories about yourself, that you can say, sir, you were talking about problem solving abilities, I have proven it to you. I have this example wherein this situation I had this problem and I solved this. That makes you different. Everybody, even in same class, same school, not everybody is going to have same ability. Even if you have same, you present it in different gift wraps. Same. Okay, so that is something that makes you unique. Plus the projects that you do, you bring in your fresh ideas and perspective. Every human is unique and they have something unique to offer. Now, the questions that test your personality, rarely your interviewers ask, and they do ask the question that you said, if everybody has done, why should we? So you can put the ball in their court. I have done that on few occasions where I would say, just a moment, let me pause the done. That's really important. Now, these questions, the moment they ask you the question, this question, the reason is they want to check your confidence, nothing else. There is nothing new, unique, out of the box that you can offer. Sometimes people do offer, but nothing else. So you are jack of all trades, that also you can say, or you bring in expertise in a niche, that also you can say. But have examples, scenarios ready to display. For example, if I say, now these questions are to test your personalities. I want you all to write down these questions. I'm going to show you some more questions and I'm going to share how are you supposed to answer these questions. Any of the questions about your skill, any of the question about your core skill, any of the question about your personality, your behavioral skills, And your decision-making skills, you are always going to back it up with some or other situational example. Always, always. If you say, how do you deal with difficult or challenging situation? I try to keep myself calm. I try to keep myself composed in difficult, challenging situation. And then I try to find solution. Now that's a plain answer. If you add, you can begin with this definitely. And then you add on, you must add on. So there was this one, I would like to share an incident with you that happened when I was in college or when I was in my first job. Now, how all of you just pause for a moment and observe all of the sessions that we had. Do I share past experiences? Good or bad, both. I share. I keep sharing those. What's the reason that I keep sharing? What do you think? Why do I share those? Sometimes students, sometimes different college, sometimes about my own life. Why do I keep sharing them?
To relate the situations.
Right. Now, that also makes you all believe that what I'm speaking holds true. I know what I'm speaking. Because anybody can speak today. It's not something that we cannot master. It takes a bit of effort, but anybody can speak. So how do you present that as a fresher interviewee who is sitting for placement? You must provide proof. What are your core personality traits that makes you a winning candidate? And just for your information, FYI, you are not just 160. You'll be competing with lakhs of other students. Look at it from company's perspective. That's why I have been asking you all to research. I'll come back to that again. Read about the company, know their Kundali by your heart. Every company. I forgot to tell you about this Mumbai college that I interviewed, that I prepared them for last year. And I asked them, as I asked you all to have a list of 5 to 10 colleges, I asked them same thing to do. Have your targeted 10 institutions or organizations where you want to work or you'll be sitting for interviews. You may talk to the coordinators also. They may give you some idea of which companies you might be facing. So you can prepare a list of 10. Now, what the students did, not all, not everybody, but there was this one group of students who were, I guess, friends or something. What they did, and that is something that is going to make me super proud of them. They prepared a list of 25 companies just to be in safe bracket. They had every data of that company that they prepared. Not 15, 25. I asked them to do 10. They did 25. I asked them, why did you prepare for so many? Like, why did you do in such in-depth research? They tell me, ma'am, just to have a backup. You never know. I never know in which company am I going to get selected. In case I have to sit for this 25th company also, I am ready. I should not panic last minute if I get an interview. So all possible companies that the person, and from all ranges that I all told you, from the top performing companies, multinational companies, bigger, largest companies, then mid-range companies, and then some small companies as well, some startups as well. So from all section of market, they had a range of 25 companies, and even better, they did this activity as a group. So everybody has information, and they did it in Excel sheet. Data for each of these companies, their culture, vision, mission, their specific work areas, their recruiting pattern, their hiring pattern, firing pattern, numbers of the recruiters still they manage. That level of research they did. In that case, they want to call any recruiter from any of those companies, they call, and majority of the people from that group, they got placed in the first 10 companies from that list. They got placed in those first 10 companies. They did not have to go for the 11th one, majority of them. Still today, when I talk about that, that makes me, now in all of this, I just had a small role to play. Same role that I'm playing with all of you. Take sessions, nothing extra. They would be connected with me somewhere, maybe on LinkedIn or not. I'm not in touch with them, not at all. I got to know about this after some time, and it made me super proud. I had a chotu sa contribution in that, what I'm doing with all of you. They took the ownership and they did it for their own self. I'm just looking forward how many of you are going to do this. I'm not expecting 25 companies to research for you, but I'm expecting you to research 10 also. And then have relevant, because that is going to solve a lot of your answers of the interview questions. So students, when we talk about these questions, let me show you some sample answers. So there is this one question: what are your strengths and weaknesses? Can anybody tell me how do we answer this question? Because this is one typical question that we get. Definitely we are going to get. Anybody? Any input here?
Yes, ma'am. Pratik here. So I
Yes.
think we should highlight first and by giving some examples, like some cases, and while discussing weaknesses, we should show them as our strength also. Like if we have any weakness, we shouldn't show them as actual weaknesses. We should show them that they are actually our strengths, but we are showing it as a weakness. Like I can say, when working for a project, I don't like
Okay.
I can say that while I'm working for something, I give my everything. I don't just let it go. So and you can say I get bored easily from one working on
Okay.
single project. So
I
they
would like to
understand that.
stop you, Pratik, here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you for the input. Until some time ago, this was expected. And this was okay. Accepted also. Expected and accepted both. Not anymore. Companies, not countries. Organizations are smart. Hiring managers are smart. Okay. And they are also changing with the changing world scenario. The current trend is you should speak about your they can spot when you are lying. It's a very outdated technique to present your strengths as weaknesses. You should not. I will not recommend that. That's not something that any of my seniors also would recommend, because I had doubts about this. I confirmed again with my mentor, should this is something what is really working. And if you observe the trends, if you are active on LinkedIn and you follow any of the hiring recruiters and those especially who share the content, relevant content, you will see presenting your strengths as weakness is no more accepted. You should not. Okay. Because no matter what, we are all imperfect. We all have something that we are working upon, including me. I may be 2 steps ahead of all of you in careers progress ladder, but I also have few things that I am working upon. Every person has something or other they can call their weakness. You should share. But here comes the trick. Whatever weakness you share, remember 2 things. Don't share a fatal weakness. Fatal weakness will be something that will totally crap out your chances of getting placed. Suppose I am a trainer and I say that I hate speaking to people, or I cannot talk to people, I'm really introvert. Then that eliminates all the chances of me getting placed as a trainer. Because if I'm in industry where I need to interact with people, I can't be too conscious of interacting with people. That's a core skill that I need to have. If you are all techies and most of you are, you can't. So second thing, just 1 second, Preeti. And second thing, whatever weakness you say that I have this, you be honest and authentic, but at the same time, add on what you are doing to overcome them. The organizers, the interviewers are interested to know what kind of approach you have towards your own weakness. So you must add on, okay, I have this thing, I have this problem, I have this weakness, but I am doing something actively to overcome them. That shows result oriented, that shows that you are solution oriented and you look towards solutions and possibilities and you accept nobody is perfect, we are all work in progress. Yes, Preeti.
Yeah, ma'am. As by looking at my reality, I'm very I can't take decisions. I seem myself like looking at myself. I can't take decisions properly. So if I highlight this point, is it good or not? Or
You
this
can.
is my behavior.
You
This is
can.
my this is
Yes.
my behavior. I can't change this. Some things are
No, you
can't
can.
changeable.
You can change
How?
this. I'll tell you. We can't decide because we think both of things are important. Okay.
Yeah.
For example, I'll tell you something here. So this is one earpod. Okay. Now I have one is the right and the other one is left. And I like both of these, but I can only have it in one ear. Okay. The thing is, I'll have to prioritize. Simple thing. Prioritization is what helps you to make decisions. Simple. You have to turn little practical in that case, and you have to prioritize. Tell me what are the things that you are indecisive about?
I'm like, if I'm doing things right or wrong, I'm just not
What are
that
the things
confident.
what are the
Like
things
anything,
that
like
you are
taking
indecisive about?
decisions,
I am
like
quite
taking decision
indecisive
for
about my
CDAC.
clothes and my
No,
shoes.
not about clothes. No,
Okay, you
not
are
the small things. Only the main decisions. Like, am I doing right or wrong? Should I do CDAC or not? Am I capable or not?
make
The
a
6
list
months
of
is
pros
insufficient
and
or not?
cons. Everything that you do, make a list, and written list, visual list of pros and cons. Whichever has more pros, go with that, because everything that we do will have pros and
Yeah, I'm
cons.
working like that only. There is some
Yes,
4 quadrants chart I have got from some
correct.
sir.
You don't
So they
have
have.
to make too many. A lot of times you can use smartphones as well. But if you have to use this and you say that you are indecisive, you can specially say bigger decision, most important decisions, and smaller and trivial decisions. There are all kind of decisions that we make on daily basis. So you can say, I find myself indecisive in certain situations, and I have observed this is one hindering factor that somewhere hinders my growth, or somebody made you realize about that also you can say. But since I have realized this, I have started working on this. So I make sure that I prioritize, or I make a list of pros and cons that helps me to make decision. I can't say I have overcome this totally, but I'm definitely better than past, and I hope to improve more. I am consistent with my practice.
Okay.
That is positive.
I
That's
have worked on my other weakness, but for
Mm.
this indecisiveness, I didn't get actually how to
Something or
convince
the
a
other will come
friend.
up. Something or the
Yeah.
other will come up. Okay. As I talked about, so did I talk about my loud voice in your session somewhere?
No.
No. Or maybe I would have talked about it in other. Now I speak quite loud. You all have guessed it, by now that I am a loudspeaker. Now the point here is, during COVID, before COVID, we had most of the sessions offline. Okay, so I was out of house and would conduct most of the sessions at some other place, the company or clients, on site. Online sessions were quite few and rare. After COVID, it boomed. Online sessions boomed. So then I had most of my work for entire 2020. 100% of the work was online. 2021, 80-90% of the work was online. 2022, it came down a bit, but still a heavy part of it is online still. Now the problem happened in 2020 because I'm a loudspeaker and my brother was also working at home. He's in IT, but then there are two other members also, my parents. They would all get pretty disturbed, and we have some families who live close by, so they also keep visiting us. And if there are more than people and anybody, they would get really disturbed, and disturbed to the level of getting headaches, because I am online and I'm working for 7-8 hours in the day. I'm continuously speaking. It is definitely taking a toll on my health, because my vocal cords may damage. But at the same time, I am too loud. I'm not realizing that my family members are getting irritated because of a constant loud voice in their house. And it is not even a laughing matter anymore, because it was pretty serious. You can hear somebody talking loudly for some time, but not every day, day after day, throughout the day. Another problem was, I am very I don't have OCD, but I don't want any disturbance. So I sit in a room, nobody enters throughout the day. I have a separate room, and I have got the corner room where there is least amount of distraction there. That happened when I realized this. Okay, I am speaking too loud. This is problematic for them as well as for me, because in long run I may lose my voice, which is one of the key factors for me to keep working. I lose my voice, I lose my work. So that was important. Now that realization, I can't say I'm there yet. I can't say I have become more of a soft speaker, but I have been working on that. And now when I'm talking, my voice remains in my room only. Nobody can hear it outside. I have managed it to that level. I was too loud. Even neighbors could hear perfectly what I was speaking. I was that loud. I was that loud. No, I'm still. If I'm speaking in an auditorium of 500 people, the last person will hear my voice without mic. I was that loud. I have been that person, not anymore, but I realize it's not good for my health. It's not good for my throat. Coming back to our discussion, that's how we work. Now, that's one of the things that I really struggled with, and I have worked on it. I am not there yet, but I've been working. All of you would have something or unique. English, fluency, confidence, public speaking. Some of the weaknesses that you can talk about. Lack of patience, lack of organization, like you get too overwhelmed with ideas or organizing your files or projects or tasks, anything. Trouble with delegation. Now, this is another problem that I also face. I have a really difficult time asking for help. I can't ask for help even if I'm overworked. I know I can handle some of the responsibilities to somebody else, and having difficulty saying no. Now, that is because of poor boundaries, and you end up overexhausted. So I have been working on this also. How do you ask for help? How do you ask for delegation? Is distributing your work where relevant. So this is one of the main aims of this year that I have been personally working upon, to ask for help and distribute my work if I can, because I can't do everything alone. I need to have people who are there to help me. Timidity, like shyness or too afraid, lack of tactfulness, being reasonable and critical enough, fear of public speaking, weak data analysis skill. That this is something that you should not say. You are all techies. Then indecisiveness, harsh self-criticism. You self-criticize yourself a lot. Micromanaging, talkative. You are too talkative, so you get distracted often, or you miss your deadlines because of that. Trouble with work-life balance. It could be, you can pick up these things, but always make sure that you are including how do you improve on that as well. That's really important. All of you have taken note of these questions. I'm going to ask you all, how do you answer these? There is no one. I'm going to show you some samples as well, but at the same time, we have to look forward to creating our own answers, because your examples are going to be yours. So if you can't think about one such situation that prompted you to, and you all have done something or other challenge you all have solved. Let me show you some samples. You'll get more clarity. For example, if you talk about public speaking skill is problematic for a lot of us. So one sample answer that you can see: one weakness that I'm working on is my public speaking skills. While I'm comfortable presenting to small groups, I sometimes struggle with speaking in front of large audience. To improve, immediately before they interrupt you, you need to, and don't speak too lengthy sentences. See, this is the third sentence itself. To improve in this area, I have been practicing with a public speaking coach and seeking out opportunities to speak in public whenever possible. Or you can say I participate in any chance that I get, any opportunity that I get to participate in any public speaking event. For example, last week, my college held Rotary Club or any Falana Dimkana day, you can mention environment day, and I offered to participate in a speech or debate or just like that. Even if you didn't, you don't have to present certificates for everything that you say. Or right now I'm using you may name the app, you can skip naming. So I'm using certain applications. I have downloaded certain applications on my phone, and every day I make sure I take out half an hour to 45 minutes to practice public speaking skills with AI. Solution can be yours, but you can reflect that you're working on that. If you're making grammatical errors, you can say that. Fluency, you can say, because I come from a background where English was not the primary medium of communication. So I had a bit of trouble gaining fluency in English, and that hampered my confidence to some extent as well. But now, since past 3 months, I have been taking coaching at a coaching center or at a training institute to enhance my fluency in English. Along with that, I also practice talking with my younger brother or my sister every day to enhance my fluency. Simple. Solutions don't have to be really big. They have to be relatable. It should sound authentic. Right? Not all of us come from English speaking background, and that's okay. Another one, how do you deal with difficult or challenging situation? So when faced with difficult, challenging situation, I try to remain calm and positive. Now that can be a good beginner. Not everybody should begin with the same sentence. But then look at this highlighted part. During my internship at ABC organization, this should be a part of your answer. How did you overcome? Just one such short example is enough. It's enough. Are we all on the same page? Can I get a quick thumbs up? Okay. Fair. Another one, how would you describe your work style? I would describe my work style as focused, organized. If you have not worked before. Yes, Preeti and Vishal, both of you, one by
No,
one.
by mistakenly, ma'am, I raised my hand.
Okay, no worries. Yes, Vishal.
And by mistake, I also did raise hand.
Okay. So the thing is here, if you have not worked and still this question comes, what would you say? How would you describe your work style? Work style reflects personality. And work style doesn't have to be conventional workplace work. Even when you're studying, you're following a routine. So you describe your personality. How do you like to do things in your life? I am an organized person. I have Excel sheets for almost everything. I have reminders. So I like to plan things well in advance and I like to stick to those plans. I'm very, detail oriented and organized person and punctual as well. So I respect punctuality. My working style would be this. Plus, I am a person who is 100% dedicated. When I'm working on something, I'm attending to something, I'm 100% involved in that thing and I don't like distractions. But you don't talk about like, I don't like this or that. They are not appointing you to be a CEO yet. So you don't say that. Correct? Now that these were a few of the things. I would show you more questions. We have 5 more questions. Now all these questions about first 5 questions that I showed you and this one question, these are all going to test your skills. These skills you can always find that you have worked or not. You should have examples, instances from your life to share about. Can you describe a project that you completed successfully in a team? They want to see your team skills. They want to see how solution oriented you are. How do you prioritize your task and manage your time? Can you tell me a few prioritization techniques? One is obviously writing pros and cons of doing and then deciding what to do first. But some more prioritization techniques. How many of you have heard about Pomodoro? Ever heard this term?
No, ma'am.
Is that the same thing with the 4 quadrants? We have to decide which is the important and which we can delegate. Is this
That's another tool. That is another tool, but Pomodoro is a different tool. The Pomodoro is a time management tool. It's not a prioritization. The 4 quadrant matrix that we are talking about, it about prioritizing. If something is important, if you want, I'll show you that. I'll show you all of you that as well. But then see, how do you approach problem solving? If you speak some theoretical lines like I do this and I do that and do that, they are going to make minimal impact. But if you say that, if you first begin with saying your fundamentals, I like to do things in this particular way, and then give one supportive example. Also, I did this like this. That shows what you are saying is something that you are doing also. Walk the talk is what is important here. Cool. Now, all of you, because these are the questions, these are 10 questions, 5 this and the 5 previous one. You all have to prepare this as your homework. Take it diligently. Have your scratch answers written for them. Have examples, and not 1, but 2 to 3 examples. You never know which example you can fit where. Sometimes they are intermerged because you don't know question would come in what way. So have 2 to 3 sample examples for each of these situations when you, and this can be from any part of your life, even maybe not academically, maybe in family dynamics, you talk about that, you can share that. How do you share or delegate things? Because you have not really worked in a workplace, you can talk about a personal experience at work, at family. For example, if I talk about my family, I have grown up in a working family where both my parents were working, and I had a younger sibling. So from a very young age, we were taught to do our own tasks. But then it's not that we were loaded with responsibilities one at a time. But then we did start washing our own clothes, doing our own dishes, way younger than any other kid of our age. But that did make us independent. When I have to travel to buy vegetables or to any part of city or outside city, I don't have to look for company. Who is going to travel with me? Now, because of small independent steps that were taken in my childhood while growing up. So you can talk about that as well. You are independent thinker, you are independent worker. You know how to take responsibility and finish a task alone. But you are easily adaptable and flexible in a team also. Cool. All of you have to prepare scratch answers. Scratch, when I say, I mean rough answer. Some ideas, and that too in written form. Please do it in written form. That's important for all these questions. Tomorrow, I'm going to tell you some excellent ideas to structure this answer in a flow. But only if you will have the answers. If you don't have the answers, if you have not prepared the scratch, you can't do it. You can't participate in tomorrow's session in that case. It will be useless because it's not it's not my interview that I share. I'll share my life story and I can talk non-stop, and the interviewer will select me instead of you. I don't want that. I want you to be selected, all of you. Right, so let me show you the matrix and how do you divide that. That will be helpful to all of you. Wait a minute. So did you all take note of all the questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we had a session on personal effectiveness. I'll show you the Pomodoro technique is really my favorite. I do work like that when I'm working on content creation, or I am researching something for a new project, for something new that I haven't done before. So then I definitely use that. Where is that matrix? Yeah. Here it goes. So first I'm showing you that urgent an important task. How do you do that? It's the step-by-step plan. It's not the matrix. I like to see things from a very functional approach. Pragmatic learner I am. Where do I fit this in reality? How do I utilize this? That's where I focus upon. And as a result, I always don't go with conventional thing. I find my own ways of doing that. So whenever you have a doubt, Preeti, Vishal, Rutuja, Pratik, anybody, and you are overwhelmed with ideas and you are not able to decide. First thing first, you ask yourself, is the task urgent and important? And is the important thing here, okay? If it is yes, ask yourself, do you need to complete it today? If it is still a yes, take action. What do you need to do? Set some time aside and do it. If it's no, like it's not urgent and important, then it moves to, is the task urgent or important? Some of the tasks may be urgent. They have to be prioritized, number one. Some of the tasks are important but not urgent. For example, If I have to visit my doctor for my dental checkup, and I have to visit parlor for my hair trimming, which one is important? Both. I need to look good also, and I need to have my dental hygiene as well. But which one is urgent?
Dental.
Dental health, right? I can't really speak and sit like this. Dental is worse. I had dental surgery. That's why I'm speaking about it. Couple of months ago, and it was bad. It was really bad. So that was urgent. Cutting my hair can be delayed, postponed. I can do it after a couple of days or maybe a week also. That's important, but that's not urgent. So ask yourself if it is urgent or important. If it is not urgent or important, then ask yourself, is the task necessary at all? Still, if it's no, then discard. Don't do that. Leave it. If it is important, if it's yes, does it have a definite deadline? Ask yourself, do I have a deadline related to that? When I ask you all about interview questions and preparing yourself for GD, company research, finding yourself, preparing yourself for that, do you have a deadline for that, guys? Do we have a deadline for that?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. If you have the deadline, allocate time to complete it. Now tell me honestly, over the weekend on Saturday and Sunday, how many minutes did you all spend on preparing for your interviews? Did you research some questions on your own? Did you try to find answers and write down answers? No, even though it has a deadline, our session also has a deadline, and then the placement date is also approaching. So we have a deadline, so you must allocate time to prepare for your interviews. If it doesn't have a deadline, the first thing that you do is to set a deadline to it. Okay, for example, if I have to cut my hair, it's important, but it's not urgent. But I know I have a session in Ludhiana towards March end. I'll be traveling to Ludhiana. And because it's an offline session, I must look good. So I need to cut my hair before that. Now that's my deadline date. For any of the things that you need to do, you need to have deadlines too. So if the task is necessary, now it was not important, it was not urgent, but it was necessary. You thought it's important. For example, treating yourself with something good, to celebrate something. Save the task for quiet time. Find some free time and then do it in that time. It should make your life easier. You want to take a screenshot? Please take a screenshot. You want to make a drawing like that, works. So talking about Pomodoro, last thing for today, that's a time management technique that I use, and you also can use, because I understand a lot. All of you have super hectic schedule. So you all be wondering, how do we do that? Now, when I have to make content, or when I have to do some research or writing work, and I know it will take some time, I need 3-4 hours dedicated time for that. So what do? Pomodoro technique is where you divide your time in shorter breaks with consistent breaks, so that it doesn't feel heavy to you. You feel productive and you can avoid distractions. So I divide my time in a frame of 45 minutes. So I'll have my timer set for 45 minutes. Play phone on aeroplane mode, no distraction at all. In 45 minutes, I don't check phone or anything else. Don't talk to, don't even would go for washroom. Would finish 45 minutes. After that, I'll take 15 minutes break. Every 45 minutes, I'll take 15 minutes break. In those 15 minutes, I would scroll down phone, will check messages, will walk around, will dance, if I have to eat, I'll eat something. And then again, another 45 minutes, I'll do the job. Now the target for 45 minutes is, if I'm preparing slides, then the target will be to prepare 3 to 4 slides in 45 minutes, depending upon the topic that I'm working upon. That helps me to keep productive. I don't realize when the time went by, it doesn't feel heavy. Try doing that sometime. It's called Pomodoro technique. Or before implementing, you want to see more videos related to that to understand this better. Watch more videos related to that. Name, you all have, I have said multiple times. You all should remember that. What's the name? What's the name? Did I say? Of the title?
Pomodoro.
Pomodoro.
Yes. So Tomorrow, you all have the important homework of preparing rough answers from your end. Consider you have mock tomorrow of all these questions, around 10 questions, and they are about your personality. They are to judge your personality. They are to judge your skills and your core solving, problem solving behavioral skills too. So have situations around you. You'll have enough time to think about that. We'll have sessions in afternoon. So you have this entire evening and night and tomorrow's first of the day to think about your answers. But come prepared, everybody. That's super, super important. Okay. And with that, I will wind up today's session and I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, entire session will be dedicated on interview practice and all of your mocks. I was speaking today, you all will be speaking tomorrow. Okay. And please keep in points all the feedbacks that have been given for GD also. I'll see you. Bye-bye. Take care of yourself.
Bye bye, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.